is it really the government's responsibility to always be the one to make these changes? Is it the government's responsibility to always say, this is what we need, or you have to do this? Accessibility is a priority, and the government says you have to do this. Well, great, but here's the problem. When you shove accessibility down the throats of the community at large, it really doesn't resonate with people who don't experience it on a daily basis. They have no desire to, or no intrinsic motivation to make any changes because they don't experience it. It's not because they don't care, but they don't have an understanding. So one of the things that I thought was, instead of regulating and making these requirements by law, which I guess to a degree are required, but instead of like shoving it down our throats in regulations, why are we not working with private sector businesses to help them realize the potential of opening up their doors to people with disabilities? Why are we not turning it around and speaking the language of business, and that is dollars and cents? Why are we not turning it around in a human resources context and demonstrating how hiring somebody with a disability truly does enrich your work environment and provide you with another perspective that you wouldn't otherwise have, and allows you to be able to address the unique needs of all the community at large? Why don't we speak the language of business and these organizations so that they can turn around and have an intrinsic interest or motivation to make the changes? Because now we've made it about them. And human beings, regardless of whatever you believe, we are inherently, biologically hardwired to be generally selfish. Generally selfish. So if we are to be generally selfish, why don't we play on that? Why don't we understand that and use it to further what is perceived to be beneficial to everybody? Also, I think it's important to realize that although we have needs as a disabled community, there are also realities in our communities, in our societies, that make it difficult for us to see the other side of an argument. I think if we are to be taken seriously, and for there to be honest to goodness quality changes in our community and in our society, we need to approach these situations and these advocacy situations with much more sensitivity and much more collaboration. And what do I mean? I mean that when a business says, well, I don't have the capital to make these adjustments, I don't have the resources to make these adjustments, then we don't just say, well, we don't care, you have to figure it out. Well, that's not fair. That's not fair. These are people too. And they have to deal with things that we don't understand, just like we have to deal with things that they don't understand. So why do we place these requirements on business and on private sector businesses, public sector organizations even, and without a full understanding of where they're coming from? You know, we would be much more empowered in our communities if we took the time to become highly involved and much more educated about all of the areas that come into any given situation. So if we have an organization that cannot provide accessibility, well, instead of saying to that organization, you have no choice, it's law, or you have to do this because we deserve it, instead of approaching it that way, which, I mean, I understand that a lot of us think that way and believe that, and that's fine, but we're not really going to get anywhere, and we're not going to be respected if we're just demanding. If we approach the situation and say, why are you having trouble addressing these needs? What is stopping you? What obstacles are stopping you from achieving this goal that is both beneficial to me and also to you? What is it that's stopping you from doing it? And if we have a mutual understanding of both situations and both perspectives, we are much more likely, I would think, to be able to address the needs of both sides. So, in general, what I'm saying is, I think as a disabled community, as a movement for those with disabilities, we really need to be much more collaborative. We need to be much more understanding and critical, and not necessarily just demanding that accessibility exist. I don't think it's fair. I don't think that it's realistic. I think that we need to be considered as an intelligent group, one with the ability to communicate and comprehend the whole situation and look at the bigger picture of things. Because that, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, would give us the leg up and might push those that don't understand our situation and are less likely to move forward with accessibility initiatives. That kind of approach, where we try to understand their point of view, would be much more effective. I'm certainly, as you can tell, I'm very passionate about it, and my CPs come into play, and I'm probably not even looking at the camera half the time when I talk, but that's okay. I'm very comfortable with who I am, and if you have anything to say about the content of this video, please feel free to post a reply by video or a written comment if that's all you can manage. That's fine too. I wish that more people would be willing to engage in this kind of debate. I think that is what's missing in the disability movement, and the ability to listen and to look at different perspectives. I think that is really the key to success and advocating and moving forward and being the catalyst, if you will, for true positive change for everybody in our society, not just people with disabilities. So I thank you, and I look forward to seeing and hearing and reading your responses to my video, and I will be back on very soon.